amazing what is going on now, and people haven't seen this as certainly for the last 30 or 40 years, and I'm not sure in our lifetime, the market the way it is. Can you explain what's going on?
You know, I've been doing real estate for 25 years, and I recently did a study all the way back 50 years, and we've never seen a market like it is today. And, you know, you actually hear people bragging about how much more they paid for a house than it was listed for, and I just scratch my head to why people want to do this. But I think the pandemic, low interest rates, has spurred spurred the housing market to where there's just a huge shortage of inventory.
What is going to happen if you have that trajectory of expected inflation, which is happening little by little? How is that going to mitigate this? Is it going to negate it? Is it going to slow it down? Or will it have any effect at all?
I think inflation is going to have a huge impact on the housing market, as well as all of the people that took the deferments or forbearances on their mortgages. At the end of the day, if you're not paying your mortgage, whether it's a forbearance or deferment, whatever you want to call it, you're in default. Yeah. You're not paying your mortgage.
As far as getting, and here's the crux 22 on this thing, is if you get an ungodly amount of money for your house and you want to move into another house, you're going to pay an ungodly amount of money for the next one. So unless you can sell, maybe you stay with the in-laws or outlaws or in a hotel or something or in a condo, then that money's just going to go in and out.
You know, it will. And the problem is people can't find a house to move into. I actually did the numbers this morning. Yeah. And if you were looking at a house under $250,000 in the Jackson Metro, meaning Hinds, Madison, Rankin County, in Madison County, you only have 20 to choose from.
Wait a minute. In the entire county?
In the entire county.
There are 20 homes listed.
Under $250,000.
Under $250,000.
Yep. That's it. And if you move over to Rankin County, you got...
Wait, is this existing homes or homes that are new and haven't been sold?
Those are homes that are on the market.
That are actually for sale.
For sale.
Regardless. That is unbelievable. What do you think? How big do you think the market is out there looking? It's got to be over 20 people.
Absolutely. Well, there's 2,200 plus agents in the Jackson metro area alone.
That's Madison County. What do the other counties look like?
Rankin County has 37, and Hinds County has 163 under $250,000.
Most of those within the confines of the city limits of Jackson?
Most of those are.
Yeah. Which are some very, very good deals on some of these homes in the Jackson area. But again, you've got the crime, you've got the taxes, and that's one of the reasons you've got so many more.
Yeah, in actuality, the price point of the houses has gone up significantly. Hinds County is enjoying a price point of an average price point of $202,000 as a sold price. That we haven't seen that in years.
What about Madison County and Rankin County in that area? Or how much are they selling over what they've asked for? Or what would be the list maybe 5 or 6 years ago?
You know, it's interesting what they're selling over for. A lot of them are still selling under list price. You hear all of these people say they're paying more than list price. Well, but the average sold price in the last 30 days for Rankin County was $242,000. Interesting number here.
Yeah.
They sold at $242,000. The existing homes on the market, there's 163 homes on the market in Rankin County total. Their average price point now is $410,000.
Wow.
So
is this Lee going on? Lee Garland is my guest, and Lee is with owns the Lee Garland Group. Lee, is this going on in, let's say, DeSoto County, Ocean Springs, Tupelo, all over the state? It's the same phenomenon going on.
It's all over the state. I actually own a house in Bay St. Louis.
Yeah.
And I've just expanded into the Hattiesburg market as well as the Gulf Coast market. Same things going on the southern side of the state, northern part of the state, central part of the state. It's all over. Is
the lack of homes, you can't blame building materials on existing homes being sold, but you can blame it on new homes being finished and then officially being put on the market. Is the building material crunch, has that got something to do with it?
building materials are extremely affecting the cost of new construction. And if you want to see somebody paying way over the top, buy a new construction home. Those people buy, and builders are going to hate me for saying this,
Yeah.
but if you're buying a new construction home today, you better plan on staying there 10 years. Because if you go to resell that in 2, 3, 4, 5 years, I'm not so sure you're going to be able to get out without writing a check.
Wow. It's buying the flavor of the month, and then 6 months later, it's no longer the flavor of the month.
Correct.
That is a little bit scary, and you said it probably would take 10 years just to get you back into that cushion where the house may or may not retain that value.
Especially with the rate of inflation today.
You see things changing? Is there any indications, and I know you're on top of this, is there any indication this thing is on the wax or wane?
You know, I think it is going to change. It's not going to change as rapidly. It's really hard to predict, but I don't think it's going to change as rapidly as some people think. But I do think within the next 12 months, we'll see the market start to correct.
In the next what?
Next 12 months.
So it would be a year before this thing corrects itself, which is a long time if you're trying to make some plans now. Back with Lee Garland, just when you start looking at this, the reasons, and I think this is happening a lot of times, the reasons are multifaceted as why we're getting this or that, these bumps. It's not only the panic or the pandemic in some cases. It's in a lot of cases, it's the lack of workers because of the stimulus, where they find out it's better to stay at home. So you have a combination of things. Is that the case as far as the truck drivers, also the pandemic and all of the stuff as far as getting lumber to market?
So what you're seeing is the building prices are up, but if you're selling timber, if you're selling lumber today, you're not getting hardly anything for it. Lumber, the price of buying raw lumber, trees, is way down. One of the things that's affecting the pricing of building materials is actually the chemicals that go into the lumber to treat it, and the chemicals that are used in the concrete and different things that go into your house. Those chemicals are hard to come by. The skilled labor is hard to come by. Yeah. And all of that combined is raising those prices.
But as far as tree farmers are concerned, they're not making a bundle on this.
Tree farmers
that's
don't
amazing.
even want to sell right now.
That is amazing, absolutely amazing. All right, before we run out of too much of the time here, for people who are buying, let's just say they're out there looking, you are one of the most premier real estate companies in the entire Southeast. What's your advice, your suggestions?
So for people who are buying, you need to be looking at payments, long-term payments, and what you can afford. One of the things that I looked at is over the last 50 years, interest rates have been 7.3% on average on a 30-year note. Rates today are just under 3%. So if you were buying a $200,000 house and rates went up 2% from the 3% they are today, you would lose $45,000 worth of buying power. So that has a lot of reasons that why people are stimulating to buy today is because if those rates go up just 2 points to 5%, and remember in 2000 you were paying 8%, and you go further back and people were paying 14, 16, 17, 18%. But if rates went up 2 points from 3% to 5%, you'd lose $45,000.
Wow. Now, help me out on this one. Don't think I'm an idiot, but it's been a long time since I've purchased a house. Do most people buy on an adjusted rate now, or you have it locked in?
Most people buy on a fixed rate because the adjusted rates are only 1/4 to 0.5% lower.
And it's a gamble. You never know what's going to be.
Right.
So your suggestion also is look for a home that is an existing home would be a lot better off than the high prices of new homes at this particular time.
You're going to need to look at your end goal.
Yeah.
Is if you're going to be there a long time, it makes sense to build the home of your dreams. But if you think you're going to move in 2 to 5 years, you're going to get a better deal on an existing home.
I would imagine also that if you're fixing some things up using equity, that's another thing to do as far as deciding not to sell.
Correct.
I do want to ask you this: as far as the seller, what advice do you have for the seller? Not so much the buyer, but what advice do you have for the seller?
If I was a seller, I'd want to sell my house now, today. It's the highest peak. And it's okay to temporarily live with the in-laws or the outlaws or even...
Wait a minute. Depends on who the in-laws are. But no, go ahead.
Or an apartment. But I actually have people that are buying motorhomes and campers and living in those temporarily to take advantage of this incredible seller's market.
When you have a house for sale, in the old days, you'd probably have 2 or 3 people trickle in and want to see it. But my understanding is you're getting offers on houses almost overnight. You'll get 2 or 3.
We're actually getting 20, 30 offers on houses.
Goodness. How do you do that, though? Because, number one, I want you to get the highest offer. Do you just put it out there and wait for a couple of months? Or how long do you hang on for another offer?
One of the things that we're advising our sellers to do now is to actually hold all offers for 3 to 5 days to give everyone in the market a chance to look at it in order to maximize their price.
I would think some people who have had rental property for a while, too, and that may make rental property a little bit scarce now, because if you had rental property, now's the time to sell.
If you had rental property and the government would waive capital gains tax, we would not have a property shortage, because a lot of the people who own rental property would be more than happy to sell it.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. So when you start looking at your business and what is going on as far as Lee Garland is concerned, I know you guys are busier than ever. How many agents do you have?
I actually have 11 agents currently, onboarding 15 because the market is so hot, and with our expansion all the way to the coast. So
what are you doing on the coast? You mean you have official Lee Garland agency there now on the coast?
So I'm part of eXp Realty, and the Garland Group, my team, will be expanding and operating all over. The goal is to operate all over the state.
Yeah. Well, I doubt very seriously that it's going to take you that long to do that.
I've already listed one in Hattiesburg and sold it within days.
How about that? Well, it's always a pleasure. I thank you.